Who? Well, it's your boy Ambazador again. I just stopped by to do another review on Khali Cartel 2, right? I mean, as I told you guys, we're going deep, we're going in. I mean, like, we're going to Kenya all the way, all the rappers and everybody and the street vibes and all of that. And the best window to pick people into Kenya is going to be through Khaligraph Jones, because he brought the light to Kenya, and we are like, okay, let's follow the light and see where it leads us to. So it was automatic. We did Khali Cartel 1, we had to dig up Khali Cartel 2. I mean, like, nothing is old online. As soon as we start looking, we start seeing. So we just had to look from Khali Cartel 1 to Khali Cartel 2, and then we stumbled on now Khali Cartel and the gang. But what I liked in this one is, as I said, in Khali Cartel 1, they didn't put the names on the rappers, but now this time around they put the names on the rappers. So I think they understood the whole team spirit, Champions League, and putting the names behind the jerseys, so that when you go hide and you score the goal, we know he scored the goal. Yep. So the first rapper killed it. I mean, that's how it ought to be. Normally we know the hottest spots are the first or the last, and that's what they did on it. So it was a carefully crafted cypher kind of thing. The first guy came in with crazy wordplay. I mean, he started with the normal rappers bragging opening lines, bragging heavy, and then talking of he's got the belt, no one's going to defeat him, he's bad like Mike, and oh, you think you bad like Mike, you can't beat it. Yeah, so we know what, so that's some word play and some kind of using Mike, beat it, bad it, but you can't beat him and all of that. The only way you catch up is if he was sitting on the plane. So catch up, the only way you catch up, like running to catch up to meet up with him, is if he's sitting in the plane, like plane is up, so he's seated there, that's why you catch up with him, stuff like that. So I really love, he did a lot of that. I'm just trying to pick up some of the lines, but he did a lot of that, the word play, so I enjoyed it. Because from listening to Khali Cartel 1, I was starting to feel like, okay, maybe Kenyans have the flow, but they don't really have the wordplay like that. But listening to 2 now, I'm like, okay, we've got some people there where it's not just the flow, they've got like the deep wordplay too. And then now the second guy jumps in. So the first guy was Steph Capella, and now the second guy was 20. So I'm saying, I'm taking note of all of these names. I go down, try to Google if they have fan groups on Facebook, join the fan group so that I keep up with everything they're doing, subscribe to their YouTube channels. That's how we're building it. Yeah, that way you go across, and then if Chakara TV is on you, then Africa is on you. That's how we go about it. So like 28, the guy has a kind of Kendrick Lamar rough look to him, then but sounding like, so he looks Kendrick Lamar-ish, but sounding like a slower Meek Mill, but now he has a very street flavor to his rap. So he didn't, like, the flow was not the wow, but the word play wasn't all that, but now he had a kind of street flavor, talking about like street things, throwing this, coke this, that, so it was that, just taking us to, you know, like those rappers where you listen to them, you're like, okay, he's just talking about the life like that. I don't know if that's the life like that for this guy, but I was like, he just took me back to like the 80s, where, okay, this guy comes, he has crazy twister flow, this guy comes, he has crazy Nas Tupac deep flow, then this guy just comes, like, you used to, if you watch 8 Mile, there's always this guy who comes and just talking about the street things, just the street things, he's just sounding street like that. Yeah, so this 28 guy had the street flavor to him. I mean, a lot of that. And then the next guy was the Timmy Blanco. So Timmy Blanco was unique because from the first 2 guys, he came in with that the fast twister kind of flow, going really fast. And that's one of those things where it always attracts you to try to pay attention, because the guy is really fast, so you want to, like, what's he saying? And the more you pay attention, the more you pick up some of those lines now. So Timmy Blanco was the really fast kind of, not as fast as Twister though, but he came in with that kind of flow, fast kind of flow. And then for me, some of his wordplay things were very basic, but he did a lot of those kind of basic likes, you know, like the like this, like that, like those kind of things. A lot of similes and metaphor kind of things. But he had a lot of what we call the cocky flow too, like cocky. You just, a lot of braggadocious kind of things in his rap. Lots of that kind of thing was in his rap. So that was his own style. Then we had Caterpillar. So for me, Caterpillar had the very basic flow. I don't want to rank them like who was the last in the class or something, but between these 2 guys, this were like, they are fighting for the bottom place here. So we had like very basic flow, but I liked his energy though, especially. So he started off when he was doing in English. That's where, like, because when I'm listening, I'm already forming ideas about these people in my head. you know, like you're analyzing the game there and there, and this guy, the first ball, he just comes to the field, his body's not yet hot, the first ball that gets sent to him, he tries to break the ball, smashes the ball, falls on the ground. Like, wow, this guy is a mess. So I was not feeling him. So in my mind I already put like, yeah, his flow is basic. But by the time he got into his dialect, his flow was now really dope. I really liked his flow when he was going to dialect. So but now the irony is, when I could understand him I didn't like it, but when I don't understand him I started liking it. It was just feeling a little bit sweet like that. I don't know how to explain it. So I liked his flow when he started rapping his dialect. I just liked it like that. Then now there was this unique one that popped up here. The lady that came on board, I think she's ecstatic. Yeah, X like X and then Tactic. Yeah, I really love her flow. She came in with some kind of, you know, the Eminem flow where you go like jiggity da jiggity da jiggity da 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 jiggity da jiggity da. I don't know how to explain it, but there's that feel for those who know what I'm talking about. There's that part of her flow. It sounded very Eminem like. But for a lady, she had a very kind of better Remy Ma. I mean, imagine, I'm saying she sounded almost like a better Remy Ma. I really love the ecstatic girl. Yeah, she thought she did like crazy flow. I loved her flow. As I said, the Eminemish kind of flow. At one point she went like some kind of Nicki-ish flow, and then she went into like wordplay where I remember, like, I love the line she said, like, the contract is con. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about. So she's just like, all those contracts are fixed up, and she really held her own. So like, I definitely, anyway, I'll do the rankings later on when I'm like done with everybody, but I really feel like she held her own. Her flow was sweet. I mean, like, even when she went to the dialect, and then she was also showing her dexterity there because she did the crazy two flows in English, then went to the dialect and still killed it. I'm really loving these East African guys when they do, like, it's like they're really versed with their dialect though. Although at times some of this, the fact that you flow a lot in your dialect, it takes a toll to your ability to flow in English. But some people are just dexterous like that. They play on both languages. Either way equals strength, but most of the time you can tell when somebody's more, I mean, he's comfortable in this language but not the other. So some of the rappers, I could feel like, okay, he's better off in the dialect, some better off in English. You could tell from where he raps most of the time, and then so I could tell some of those things. And then finally, I mean, if you listen to all the various Khali Cartel things, you can tell that Khaligraph Jones always comes in with some kind of OG status of Khaligraph Jones here. So this time, like the last Khali Cartel 1, he just did the last flow before the end. This time he came again with some crazy flow. I mean, he first came with the dose of the normal bragging like Khaligraph Jones we know. He mentioned about but he was sounding so much so modern Mukan. I don't know how to explain it, but I had the feeling of like some underground beef spirit. You know, like when you watch the Murder Mooks, the what's his name, the Virus guy, the what's that guys, some of those old guys who never, or Cassidy when he's on the street, because Cassidy when he's rapping a song and Cassidy when he's beefing on the street, when he's doing battles on the street, is something else. It's two different people. So he sounded so much like the street battle rapper kind of thing. He came in strong with a message to all Kenyan rappers, like this is who he is, and sending a message to all Kenyan rappers. And then he also demonstrated a lot of his dexterity in both languages. The flow was good in English and in their dialect. I'm assuming maybe that should be Swahili or something. And then he went, when he likened himself, he mentioned some lines where he likened himself to pack, to pawn. I mean, his flow was just killing it. And I really loved when he said, don't try to compare me with your favorite rappers. He mentioned that he took the award of in Africa for rap and things. He was just bragging a lot. And then he said even Casper calls him Dark Shabalaze. If you know about Casper Noves, the South African rapper, song where he says Shabalaze, Dark Shabalaze. So he threw all of those lines out there, and the flow was just sick. So for me, I can't really flow and enjoying the rap wise Khaligraph Jones, but literature prowess and wordplay and bars kind of thing, I'll go with Steph Capella. But Khaligraph's energy was just crazy, so he felt, or maybe it's because you also know him, like, you know, like there is a way when the same line being said by, let's say, MI and being said by a local rapper, it feels somehow sweet and more appreciated from MI just because it's MI. You already have that affinity towards him. Yeah. So Khaligraph Jones had that flavor, but I really want to see more of Steph Capella. Yeah, I will really go and dig more into this thing, because for those who have been listening to me, you know that I have a thing for educated rap poetic rap, really demonstrating the art in itself, not just doing the every street thing, which is just very plain, not plain, but for lack of a better word, too layman like. I mean, like everybody can just do some of those things, but putting some effort, some work to it, I feel like that's where the art is really being portrayed and valorized here. So Steph Capella's verse was really, he had a lot of wordplay things. The bass energy was not that hard though, so maybe it's because he was not that confident as Khaligraph Jones. But this is a unique thing here. Whoever is first out of these two guys, the other person is not second, because I feel like the second is Ecstatic. Yeah, so she came that hard among all of these guys, so no matter who is first, the other person comes third, because Ecstatic has to be second. For some reason I almost put Ecstatic first, but you know, like, well, the guys are there, the guys are doing their thing. No matter how good Serena Williams is, for some reason we cannot get to imagine her beating the Federer in Nadal. Yeah, so that's, for some reason, that's why I was just like, but for real, I mean, like, I don't know, Ecstatic really killed it. So whoever is first in this group out of Steph Capella and Khaligraph Jones, the other person is third. Yeah, and because the second has to be Ecstatic. The other guys are there, but as I said, I appreciated various things about them. It was not all that, but I really like the limelight these guys are getting, and believe me, I'll be zooming in more on the details on every African rapper, every African country like that. And for those who stick around with Chakara TV, it's going to be, I mean, I can bet already, yeah. Inshallah, if people are alive, it's going to be interesting times for the next 5 to 10 years for hip hop and rap as a whole in Africa. I'm out, your boy Ambazador.